Hey folks, so I thought I'd take a few minutes and share with you some work that I'm doing on my Legion troops. So I'm working with some Milliput today, and I'm using two different rollers. I'm using my factory one and the plain one for basically rolling things out. I've got, let's say 12 bases I'm working on today. I've got 5 done already over here. I've got one more to go. Essentially, I've got the little dudes all set up to put on the bases too. These were kind of second hand, so I had to take them off the bases, which is cool. It's much easier doing the work on the bases before putting the guys on top, because afterwards it is a pain. So what I'll do is I'll put a little piece on there, and then I will get a bottle or a cup and put some water in it. Then put the roller, make sure the roller's nice and wet, and roll it over top, and just kind of spread it around the base a little bit, so it's covering most of it, if not all. And I'm not using the silicone rings for this part. I just want to try and get it even for the most part. Any lines or creases or cracks taken out, and just make sure it's smooth. The rings I will use for the factory bit right now. It's really important to have the water on the roller so the Milliput doesn't stick. But people have suggested using stuff like talcum powder as well. Mind you, I don't want to do that right now because it's a bit of a mess, but whatever works for you. There we go. So, kind of wet here. A little bit of extra bits in here. I haven't quite cleaned it because I've been working on it right now. So, and that's because it wasn't wet enough. So I'm trying to find a good spot. Push down and try and only go over it once, so you get a nice clean. There we go. Use the hobby knife. Don't cut yourself, and just go around the edge with downstrokes. Clean off the excess, and then put the excess back into to the side. Actually, don't put into the current Milliput ball that you're working on, because it'll usually be a little bit more wet. There we go. Push that to the side. There we are. So that's one more base. Just tap a quick little dab on top, and we're done and ready to go to the next one. So we'll do a few more. So grab another piece. So I mixed the epoxy a little earlier, so we should be all set to go. Just gonna squish it a little bit together and put it in the center. Mush it down a bit, and then grab the plain roller. Make sure it has a little bit of water on it from the cup, and roll it on over. And when you do work with your rollers, make sure you guys clean them off before the epoxy dries, because it'll be a lot easier. You can still clean it out once it dries. You just have to do a little bit of picking. See if I can get this out, because I really like that little rivet there. Just run it under some hot water later. So, find the spot I want, sit it down, and roll across. There we go. And then just scrape off the excess. I'm not too worried if a little bit of extra comes off the base, because the bases I'm creating are going to be both factory and sand. So it's basically on a ruined Imperial world, I guess, and there's both sand and bits of Imperial infrastructure here and there. So dab a little bit, set that one to the side, and what we should get in the end, if I did everything right, is bases that will match my current army. So the bases look like this. So let me grab one, see if I can bring it a little bit closer to see. A little hard to see, but shouldn't be too bad. And then to match my test display board, we've got these guys here. There we go. So I've got a speeder bike. To get the different lines to for sure line up, correctly. I just did sand with some basing on the side. And then most of my troops have the basing that looks like this. So, yeah. Not too bad. It seems to have worked out. So, overall, that's pretty much all it is. Just make sure your workspace is clean and dry or wet, depending on what you're working on. So, I usually keep it a little bit damp when it comes to the epoxy because it is messy. So, there's one more. I am no way, to be in all honesty, having any clue what I'm doing. A lot of it's been just kind of when I have the time, I'll jump on, play around with a little bit, see what works, check a few videos, see if other people have some good ideas, and just get it done. What I'd like to do, I may have mentioned a little bit earlier, is I want to work on my Trillion next. This was supposed to be my Trillion project right now, but I was having some problems with the basing material, mostly because they're metal models and they're already on their base, and I'm not too sure how to do it other than oh shoot, don't come off. There we go. That one wasn't quite as wet as I should have had it, but so yeah, the Trillions for Free Blades, they're already on their base, so they're metal models, right? And it's a little bit trickier to do this, I found. So what I'm going to do is get some wax paper, do the basing the way I want to on the wax paper, and then cut it off in pieces to add it on. So if I had a runic one, I could make some really cool runic bases with the runic roller I have. But for these Trillion, what I'm going to try and do is dab that real quick. There. What I'm going to do is ice. So I've got some ice rollers that will work out pretty well, I think. And this stuff dries really nicely. And you can play around with it and work with it once it's all dried up too. Scraping, damaging it as needed. So, put that down. May have been too wet. The base itself might have been a bit wet. And that's why it didn't quite stick as nicely as I would have liked. So kind of flatten this out a bit more. So yeah, so once the ice pieces are on the wax paper and rolled, I'll wait for it to dry, and then I'll break off little bits and add the broken ice to the base. I'm not going to do huge chunks of the base as ice. I'll leave that for mostly the display table. It's going to be a good portion of it will be sand and the little tufts that you can get from what was it, Army Painter? These things right here, the Army Painter little tufts of grass. So let's try this again. Let's go with this piece here. Push down, roll across. Want to only do it once. It's pretty quick. Once you get a rhythm going, it doesn't take long at all. And I've already done 9 bases. Wait, no, I can't count. Yeah, 9 bases so far. So I just have 3 more to go of the full 2 units. There. Done another one. Put that little extra bit on there. Boop, done. There. Perfect. Another one done. Little bits put to the side. And we can go on to our last one. So, if you guys have any suggestions, thoughts, or just correcting me on what I'm doing wrong, toss those in the comments below. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye now.